so plain and precious. So plain and precious. Finally, the Book of Mormon is the keystone of testimony. Just as the arch crumbles if the keystone is removed, so does all the church stand or fall with the truthfulness of the Book of Mormon. The enemies of the church understand this clearly.
One of our brethren some years ago spoke of the payment of tithing as fire insurance. Nonetheless, the word of the Lord is clear that those who do not keep the commandments and observe the laws of God shall be burned at the time of his coming. For that shall be a day of judgment, a day of sifting, a day of separating the good from the evil. I would venture a personal opinion that no event has occurred in all the history of the earth as dreadful as will be the day of the second coming, as fraught with the destructive forces of nature, as consequential for the nations of the earth, as terrible for the wicked, and as wonderful for the righteous.
Travis, my good soul, I stand all amazed at how plain and precious, I grew to hate that word, the simplicity and blatant obviousness that God has made for us. Not Jesus God. If you're Christian Trinitarian, you're in for a big shock. So that all Mormons can know, not just suspect, not just choose what to believe, to actually know that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is false. You don't have to be knowledgeable with the signs in the heavens. as that is prophesied for the latter days. Matthew 24:29, stars shall fall from heaven. Mark 13:25, and the stars of heaven shall fall. Revelation 6:13, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth. Revelation 8:10, fell a great star from heaven. Revelation 9:1, star from heaven unto earth. Doctrine and Covenants, section 29, the stars shall fall from heaven, and there shall be greater signs in heaven. Section 45, stars fell from heaven. And Joseph Smith Matthew, which is just a repeat. And so you may not know and understand Revelation chapter 12 verse 1's Joseph Smith translation version, in which it says, and there appeared a great sign in heaven in the likeness of things on the earth. So that you won't catch all my videos all these years about when stars fall from heaven. And this year, on Nelson's birthday, the Perseid meteor showers fell from heaven. And Nelson, in the likeness of things on the earth, fell on 9/11, as he informed us at conference. And then for Friday, as I did the video about it, anybody catch that? I didn't know when the funeral was scheduled when I did the video and I covered it. It was pretty obvious it would be on Friday, but still. The Leonid meteor showers are Friday night. For the funeral of M. Russell Ballard in the constellation of Leo, the lion, the symbol of Judah, phonetically the same as Utah. Stars fall from heaven in the likeness of things on the earth. And so God made it very clear for all of you, so that you would not be confused. It was repeated in the Book of Mormon. If I can figure out which... Nope, that's the Emmanuel. There we are. Chapter 24. 2 Nephi. Chapter 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? And you may not know ancient languages or classical languages to know that Lucifer is a Roman deity that was used in Isaiah for the first time in the Latin Vulgate, 400 CE. And so for it to be in the Book of Mormon, it's not an anachronism. It was put in here on purpose. Because not only is it talking about the prophecy of the leader of the great and abominable church falling in the latter days, It also gives you his baby name meaning. You may not know that that's the learning of the Jews to give their prophecies in naming the characters according to the prophecy that is being told. Not literal history. And so you may not know that Joseph Smith, by revealing who the great and abominable church is with their great and abominable Christ, because you don't know what a creed is and what the first creed of that great and abominable church of Roman Emperor Constantine says. Despite having Google search now, which we never had before, everybody can learn the truth. But even if you didn't, you would know that the sign of a falling star of Lucifer is the inverted pentagram, which originates with the Egyptians. It's the universal symbol. And so, all Mormons know exactly what's on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple. Right there on the keystone that was put on the Nauvoo Temple after Joseph died. That's on the Logan Temple. That's on the Eagle Gate. Right there at the headquarters of which church again? All of these are clear, plain, and precious for Mormons not to be deceived. And so, when you know this, you are not confused anymore about contradictions in the church. The Book of Mormon says that priestcraft is an abomination. Oh no, section 119, it says it's by Joseph. We're supposed to practice priestcraft. What do? Which is right? Which is the keystone? If it doesn't adhere to the keystone, it's a forged document. So, learning of the Jews. Oh no, section 115. 119 for tithing? 115, it says it's supposed to be Jesus. Jesus is in the Book of Mormon too. Joseph Smith's history, 1838. It says it's the name of the church. Oh no! What do? Section 115 is a forged document. Joseph Smith history. We have the Joseph Smith papers now. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints have online free for you to search. All you have to do is do it. To find out that Willard Richards inserted, after Joseph died, Jesus Christ in the name of the church. And polygamy, Book of Mormon condemns it 6 times. Oh no, section 132, what do? Which do we choose? Forged document. which means everything else accusing Joseph Smith of polygamy is a lie and a forged document. But the church says, oh no, they're legitimate. Joseph Smith was. The Book of Mormon is wrong. Really? Which church are they again? That's why the Book of Mormon is wrong in their eyes. Oh, but they say it's true, just not that true. It's wrong about tithing and priestcraft. It's wrong about polygamy. And so the Doctrine and Covenants. We see the practice. The president of the Quorum of the 12 always succeeds the president of the church when he dies. And so that's what all this about M. Russell Ballard is about. Somebody's going to need to replace him as the acting president of the 12. Because that's the manner of succession for this church. And you don't bother to go to section 107, verse 22. Or it's contradictory. Oh no, what do I choose? Many Mormons I know, including me, was concerned about, wait a minute, it's not supposed to be a sustaining vote. A sustaining vote? You mean a loyalty oath? A Melchizedek priesthood, according to section 107, verse 22, we're supposed to gather and vote, not sustain, vote, as to 3 replacements for Joseph Smith. Not 1 and 2 counselors. And so why did Brigham Young not obey that? It's obvious. He was the president of the Quorum of the 12. And so in order for him to legitimize his succession, the president of the Quorum of the 12 has to succeed the president upon his death. And then Brigham Young, the year before he died, realized the stupidity of his decision, as Orson Hyde was going to replace him upon his death. And he had worked so hard to have Adam as Heavenly Father. And Orson Hyde was a vocal opponent of that. And so, 1838, oh yeah, you were booted out of the Quorum of the 12, weren't you? And then Joseph put you back in when he got back from Liberty Jail. And so your rank is now dropped. John Taylor is now going to succeed me. He was loyal, even though he fled under the bed after Joseph shot him. See, once you realize the truth, everything else fits into line. All the lies and deceptions that we've been told as a baby are removed from our eyes as we see that the learning of the Jews has to do with Christianity and that creation of abomination, Jesus Christ. And so, yes, even though Roman Emperor Constantine was the first causation of that, Brigham Young tried to confuse Mormons. Oh no, another testament of Jesus Christ? But it says it's the learning of the Jews. What do we do? What do we choose? I don't know. It's too confusing. You know, the Jewish authors wrote the Bible scriptures. All of them. Christians had no part in writing any of them. Therefore, it's in the learning of the Jews to interpret, not the learning of the Christians, not the learning of Islam, not the learning of Brigham Young's Christianity. You need to know the learning of the Jews. You need to know the learning of the Jews concerning their Christ. And why some Bible authors who were Jews would use the name Jesus. And they made it plain and precious for all, even Christians, to know that his name's not actually Jesus. You never even read your Matthew? Starts off, this is the genealogy of Jesus, and it's the genealogy of Joseph, not Jesus. And then an angel appears to Joseph in a dream and says, you're going to call the son who's impregnated in Mary, whom you just married and haven't had sex with, you're going to name him Jesus, because there was a prophecy by this unknown guy who's the reverse of Jesus, Isaiah. You may not know Hebrew to know that. And quotes his prophecy that his name's supposed to be called Emmanuel. And you may not know Hebrew to know that whoever put in God with us is a dumbass. It's the Egyptian sun god at noonday. Language of the Egyptians. The pre-Babylonian Jews were Egyptian. They were under Egyptian rule. And so King David was not an independent king of all of Israel. He was an Egyptian pharaoh who ruled over Egypt all the way up into Canaan. And the 18th dynasty pharaohs, which obviously you wouldn't know unless you watch me in my videos, was called, transliterated into Paleo-Hebrew as the David-Moses dynasty. Number 18. With the Egyptian sun god Amun as the name of the priesthood. Section 107, right at the beginning, verse 2. Shh, don't frequently repeat the name. And Nelson gets up at the pulpit of conference, quotes a forged document, and now says that Jesus is angry with the nickname, which is not a nickname, it's an acronym of Joseph Smith's name of his church, LDS Church. Jesus is angry. Well, of course Jesus is angry. Jesus isn't Joseph Smith's Christ. Plain and precious. Nelson was telling you he's the Antichrist. His baby name meaning is Lucifer. Russell, Marion. Red, star. Mars. The husband of Venus, the inverted pentagram. That son of the morning part. Everything is very clear when you remove Jesus and Christian interpretation from the equation. You now see the signs in the heavens. You're now studying the signs in the heavens. You're now studying your scriptures, searching for signs for the latter days, and realize, oops, we're in the final year, the final months. You have been deceived, and that was a prophecy. And so it's sad that despite quoting from the Book of Mormon, from Joseph Smith, that Mormons are on a rampage against me with such evil hatred in their comments towards me, accusing me of being the Antichrist. And it was you all along. And so, as a result, Mormons have no clue who their Christ is. They have no clue who to look for, because they're waiting for Jesus. They have no clue that this is who they're supposed to look for. Section 91, or Section 107, verse 91. Joseph Smith says, I'm the president of the office of the high priesthood. I preside over the whole church. I am like Moses. That's the Jewish Christ. Deuteronomy 18, 15 through 19. Joseph Smith History, 1838, verse 40. And takes you to Acts. Precisely as it stands. Did you go to it? Did you find out it's not cut off? And who gets cut off and why? You claim you study your scriptures, but it's obvious you don't, and you get mad at me. It's plain and precious, and you get mad at me that you missed it because you didn't study. You read your scriptures and waited for a feeling instead, which means you know nothing. Apparently, they don't teach you how to comprehend what you read. See, when I had English grammar, we also had English comprehension. We had reports that we had to do, book reports, to show how well we understood the book. We'd have science fair projects to help us learn how to develop a theory and have it tested so that we can learn the truth, which is exactly the same process in the scriptures, even that Bible. It's called the science of agronomy. Seed turns into fruit. And the fruit always is after the pattern of the seed. So that you can't plant an orange seed and produce an apple. If you plant an orange seed, you will always get an orange. If you get anything else, it was a false seed. Those apples. And so, verse 92, you will know him by his fruits. That comes from Matthew. He will have the gifts of seer. Joseph Smith told us that's the Urim and Thummim. I had a commenter who's a little upset about her double D's. The deltas of David. This is so that you can see the signs in the heavens. The sun god at noonday. The circle around it is the prophesied man like Moses, the descendant of David. The universal symbol of the sun, the circle. All the way back to the Egyptians. And so you'll see somebody who reveals the signs of the latter days for you. Can you figure out who he is? It's plain and precious. He'll be a translator of Paleo-Hebrew and thus the learning of the Egyptians, language of the Egyptians, which is different than the Rosetta Stone, which is in the learning of the Greeks in the language of the Egyptians. So you'll see that Joseph Smith was also warning you about the signs in the heavens of the latter days with the Book of Abraham facsimiles. He selected 3. Those got published. He put those in a specific order. And I've shown to you the importance of that order. Joseph is a translator, a seer, and a revelator, prophesying to you. But as Christian Jesus, it's gone. Now it's just a title that Joseph holds, just like the prophets of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They're a seer, a revelator, a prophet, not a translator, which should have been also a clue that's plain and precious. Simply because they're a prophet, seer, and revelator. They were called, set apart. And if Armageddon doesn't happen before April conference, there will be a brand new apostle who will have his hands laid upon him after the sustaining vote in conference. And he'll magically become a prophet, seer, and revelator. Did you notice? It's the keys of Moses, not the keys of Peter. That was your other clue. Everything testifies that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is false. It's plain and precious. It's frustrating for me to be the only one who knows about this. That other people suspected something was up but didn't know and understand it until they found my channel. And that, sure enough, the Church of the Lamb is indeed fewer in number than the Church of the Devil. The Church of the Lamb is within the Church of the Devil, which is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. led by Lucifer himself, who fell, as the inverted pentagram on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple, there at the headquarters. And the doctrines of Lucifer are taught within. Father is coming. Father will see your nakedness. Take some fig leaves and make you aprons. Quick, hide. The doctrine of Lucifer. And what is the major push of the church? Women need to be shamed. Women need to be debased. Women are addictive. Women are evil. Women need to cover up. Women need to go into depression when they become a teenager hitting puberty. The only use of your sexual feelings is after you've paid us and are sealed in the temple. That's taking away your agency. That's being mean and abusive. That's the patriarchal abuse. And as I've never understood, Kate Kelly and her ordained women, they knew and understood the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is wrong. But they stayed in, demanding the church change. And Kate Kelly was shocked when she was excommunicated. What? What do you mean, what? You knew the church was wrong, and you're surprised that by rebelling, they excommunicated you? Even I was not that stupid as to why the church was trying to murder me. All these years, silencing my voice on YouTube. I know and understand why the church is the way they are. Yesterday, I obtained the DVD Equalizer 3, Denzel Washington. Brilliant. And it drew me back to my New York mission, where I not only saw gangs, but I visited with the mafia. There is a mafia organization in every city in the United States, major city at least, except for Utah. There are gangs, but the mafia is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and they run the whole state and have been branching out to reclaim the territory that once was theirs for about a year. Until the United States took over the seceded land of Mexico. And instantly, the kingdom of Deseret was gone. And Brigham Young fought the United States ever since. The organizational structure. That's the American crime family structure. That's why the prophets wear suits, demand that missionaries wear suits. Mr. Mack went into business knowing that he had a great thing going there. You're going on a mission? Come to Mr. Mack. We'll take care of you. Yeah. That's the mafia wardrobe. And it's also the CIA wardrobe, which is what? You're supposed to be against the mafia. But yet, missionaries get confused as being CIA operatives. And the CIA used to recruit from the church missionaries because they'd go to foreign languages and learn the languages. And yeah. And then you get the Mormon mafia. That guy in the early 1900s that went to go work with Howard Hughes and was a part of the CIA. So, yeah, fun. The big picture opens up to you. You see the corruption. You see the crime. And so, yes, that's exactly why the state of Utah violates the Constitution of the United States of America. Giving precedence to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Banning alcohol with the Zion Curtain. That was a big shame on America, having to have another amendment to amend the amendment of prohibition. And so now this church controls your agency about alcohol. I don't understand why anybody wants to drink alcohol. You throw up and you're unable to think clearly, and it's a bitter, bad aftertaste. It smells like urine. You might end up waking up in a place you don't know where you are, and you're without your clothes, and you... Oh, but it was fun. I can't wait till next weekend. Oh, did I get an STD from that woman at the bar? Syphilis is part of the 800% increase. Oh, dear God. But, yeah. A Chicago cop was dead every single day because of prohibition. So, because of the high demand, they brought it back. But no, 14th Amendment, church is a big opponent against women. Oh, but the church is so true. I don't need the priesthood that Joseph Smith gave us in priesthood office. I'm perfectly fine being a slave, a sex slave to my husband. Perfectly fine. I rule the family anyway, wearing the pants. You're a rebel. You need to be excommunicated. You're supposed to obey your husband. My mom did, and she died for it. So, there you have it. What did Joseph Smith say again? Verse 40? It's a cut-off part. But Mormons choose, and Mormons chose wrong.